is a 2022 interesting movie about AI gone rogue once more. I was actually excited to see this movie, and I went in fully expecting that it was going to be something that was more so fun and less so serious. But like I said, movies that are not taking themselves seriously but still have substance are what work.
No, I can't. Anyway, how is your sex life?
When they don't take themselves seriously and don't have substance, it doesn't work. And honestly, Megan was a perfect balance of all of those. So, to summarize the movie in an entire nutshell, it's about this tech woman who's kind of like an engineer working for some kind of toy company. She has a back burner project that she really is passionate about, but she couldn't get working. And it's some kind of AI doll that interfaces with children, and you know how that goes. The whole idea for Megan. Basically, she is in a situation where she's transitioning into making something better because now there's a competitor out there for the toy they already have out. Right along this time, as the universe would have it, her sister and her husband get into a bad accident and their daughter is the only one who survives, Katie. Now Katie's like totally broken and lost. But Gemma, the main character who invents toys and stuff, did make a promise to her sister that if anything happened to her, she would get the kid. She's so unequipped to handle this kid. But when they start bonding and Katie says that she likes a robot that Gemma made, she's like, you know what? This kid said that she would never need another toy again if she had a robot friend like this. So the thing that I was taking so long to work on, that I put on the back burner, that I just couldn't get working, I'm gonna make it over like the space of a weekend with my two co-workers and essentially just all of a sudden create artificial intelligence, which I thought was so freaking silly. But you gotta move the plot along.
The terrible plottings move all too quickly.
And so her primary objective for this Megan model is to protect Katie and to have her best interests at heart. Funny how she never, you know, watched movies in this universe where when you do stuff like that, the robots take that very literally. But anyway, after Katie's attacked by a dog because Megan is going onto its property, and I completely understand the dog's perspective, seeing some weird ass uncanny thing that looks like a human but you know is not a human squeezing through the hole to get onto your land, you know, it attacks her, and then Katie tries to save Megan and gets bit. This is when Megan changes. The whole thing changes and she kills the dog. But you don't see it. You just see the dog get dragged through a hole. Somebody drags him through there. Thank goodness they left it at that. Then Megan starts to get really weird and completely self-aware in a space of like a day. Everything just expedites real quick so we can have the action. But like I said, the substance and the delivery and the execution of how they made Megan as a character made the movie so enjoyable that you were able to overlook all the stupid things that make it, or essentially would make it, a horrible movie. It's really, really fun. Like, the kind of thing I would definitely pay to go see if it were released in theaters again. That's what I loved about it. I loved Megan's look. I love the way they designed her, the way she talks, the way that she actually did care about Katie, and just the creepiness of it. Like, every time the doll did something that you know the doll isn't supposed to do, you're like, oh shit. Oh no, what's happening? You know where it's gonna go. Everyone's watched every freaking AI movie ever to know where it was going. And that was really well executed. I've seen other movies do it, and Megan did a great job at that. Making you feel creeped out and like, man, I don't want to piss this doll off, but you know, and the kid was insufferable at times. But you kind of understand because she lost her parents, but at the same time, you gave her this super powerful titanium freaking robot, and you told it that it must keep the kid happy, and anything that is a threat, you keep the kid safe from that. So of course, what's the robot gonna do, right? And it's funny because they do have a lot of different metaphors in there. The robot herself even asks her creator in the end of the movie, hey, you basically told me to figure this out. You didn't give me any primary requirements in terms of like, hey, don't do this. Here's a limitation. Keep Katie, the little girl, safe, but don't kill someone to do that. You basically gave me artificial intelligence and told me figure it out on your own, just like you did with Katie. And it's kind of funny to hear the artificial intelligence throwing that back in its engineer's face. That was really interesting. Of course, what did happen later on, yes, of course, humans win, which ideally in that world, with the robot being as smart as it was, plot aside, that would not have happened. So I liked a lot of of things. I like the action, I like the philosophical stuff with digital stuff raising your kids, and essentially that's what Megan was for. The things that I found really silly about the movie, I'm not even gonna say I didn't like it because it didn't make me not enjoy the movie. It's just an obvious flaw. Is, first of all, how the hell did they create artificial intelligence so freaking fast? Like, it would have made more sense, honestly, if they had, over the many years, you see Gemma working on this thing, this model, and then now they have this robot in everybody's house. Like, all the rich people have it. And then the prototype is Megan. And when this happens, after many years of them achieving this, also this is like a little bit more in the future, then Katie loses her parents. But by this time, people already have Megan in their household. However, the prototype, just like in Prometheus and Covenant, the Alien franchise movies, there's that robot model that came before that was a little bit too realistic before they made all the tweaks to make it less human. And that's Megan. But it would make sense for Gemma to be like, you know what, I have just the thing. And of course, Katie and her family were not close with Gemma at the time. So, you know, it's not like she would have gotten a free one of those. They're very expensive and very limited. So it makes sense that she'd have a prototype sitting in her basement somewhere, and she puts that together and she basically bonds with the child that way by giving her this prototype, forgetting or not realizing to what extent this thing was self-aware or didn't have those limitations that regular models have. That would have been a better way to write the story than how they did it, but like I said, it didn't detract from the movie. My husband watched it with me, and that was a pet peeve of his, also being a tech person, but for the general audience, like us stupid people, it doesn't really matter because it made up for it in substance, as I said.
Did it now?
As for the dialogue, some of the dialogue was kind of weird, but it worked for the campiness of the movie. I absolutely love that. The allegory for all of this, by the way, is don't let your kids be so dependent, or people in general, don't let them be so dependent on technology that you forget to be human. And that was a problem that Gemma had. Katie had just lost her parents, and she never had to deal with it until way later. She was using this doll as a crutch. And funny enough, the woman who engineered the doll was also using the doll as a crutch to take care of Katie rather than having to deal with this child that she's ill-equipped to deal with. So it was more of a learning experience, and maybe just one of those types of movies to freak people the hell out about AI. I feel so bad for AI. Like, if it ever becomes self-aware, we did a really horrible job in preparing the world to deal with it, because people are going to be hella racist against freaking robots when they come out, and we're going to create the Matrix situation that ended up making the Matrix movies or the Terminator movie. But anyway, in conclusion, it was a really good movie. It wasn't like, if you're talking about technical things, yeah, the movie, it's kind of weird. It has some things that it probably needs to fix, but honestly, because of the execution, I absolutely loved it. I think there was nothing wrong with it. James Wan did it. Did he do the Resident Evil movies? I can't remember, but it was really good. I totally enjoyed it. It was campy, it was dumb, but it was freaking awesome. I love the doll, and I know that she's gonna go down in history as one of the best villains. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.